Hello all, welcome back. This is Christabel Diana from Trinity Software. In this video, let us see how to build a Python quiz application with a timer. In my previous video, we have already built a quiz application with Python Tkinter, and in another video, I have made the questions of the quiz randomized. That is, the quiz questions will be displayed in a random order. Now in this tutorial, we are going to implement a countdown timer in the quiz application. The timer will be present. It will reset upon each question and the timer will stop if the user answers the question within the time frame and start from the beginning again for the next question. And finally, the score will be displayed after completing the quiz. Okay, each unanswered question will be considered as a wrong answer. So this is the file which we have used in the previous tutorial. Now let's see the modifications to be done in this Python file. So within the class, we have many instance attributes defined. Instance attributes are owned by one specific instance of the class and it is not shared among the instances. Let me define an instance attribute called button clicked. Self dot button clicked, and I'm initializing it to 0. So whenever the next button is clicked, the control will move on to the next question. If the countdown timer has reached 0, so automatically next button will be clicked and the next question will be displayed. So whenever a next button is clicked, I will be changing this button clicked value as 1. So initially it will be equal to 0, and also I have a method to set the timer, self dot set underscore timer. The timer is for 10 seconds, so I'm passing 10 as the argument here. Okay, fine. So these are the changes to be made in init method. Then this questions radio buttons functions need not be changed. And in the buttons method, we have two buttons called next button and quit button, right? Here we are going to add this timer. So to add the timer, let me use a instance attribute called timer label. So self dot timer label equal to, let me create a label inside root, setting width, and the text is initially set to 10, and let me also set the background and foreground color. Background foreground color is set, and made some changes to font also. Okay, so we have created the timer label. Now we need to place this timer label using place method. Self dot timer label dot place. I'm going to place it in the top right corner of the root window. So okay, now I'm going to define that set timer function. So def set underscore timer, it takes count as an argument. The countdown timer should work in this way. It should start from 10 and it should be counting down. So let me use an if condition. If count greater than 0, I'm going to make the set timer as a recursive function now. So if count is greater than 0, we are going to update the text of this label, that is self dot timer labels text is set as count. After this, we have to call the countdown again after 1 second. Okay, it should be like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. The function that can be scheduled using after function. So after function takes two arguments, the time in milliseconds and the callback function to be scheduled. Okay, so we can do that here. Let's call this function as root dot after method. First argument is 1000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. After 1 second, I'm going to call the same function, that is self dot set underscore timer. So here on the third argument, star arguments represent the argument of the set timer. So let me decrement the value of count by 1. So I'm going to store this in a variable called timer underscore id. Okay, so in this way the countdown timer will be working. In case If the user has attended the question within the time frame, then we need to cancel the timer ID. So for that we can check a condition here. If self dot button clicked, if it is 1, we can cancel or stop a particular schedule of a callback function. We can use root dot after underscore cancel, and we can pass this timer ID here. Before continuing, whenever next button is clicked, I'm changing self dot button clicked value as 1. Okay, so now we get an error here, timer ID. It shows unresolved reference. So let me make it as a global variable. Global timer underscore ID. Okay, fine. Whenever a count is greater than 0, we are calling this self.setTimer by decrementing the count value by 1. Else, if the count has reached 0, and if count is equal to 0, it means that the user didn't attend the question within the time limit. So automatically the next button should be pressed. So we are calling that function self.next button. Okay, so that's it about set timer function. Then let's move on to the next button function. Here we have set self.button clicked equal to 1. And we need to do some modifications here. Here, if the question has reached the end, that is, if self.question is equal to len of q, then we are displaying the result. At the same time, we have to cancel the timer ID. Okay, the timer should not run after the questions are over. So using root dot after cancel and passing the timer ID as the argument here, and then we are displaying the result. Else, if the quiz didn't reach the end, then for each and every question we need to set the timer starting from 10. So self dot set underscore timer passing 10 as the argument. Okay, so that's it. So before executing, let me show you the JSON file where questions are stored. So question is stored in this order, options and the corresponding correct answers are displayed. Every time when you execute, the questions will be displayed in the random order. So execute it now. So you can see here the timer is running. Okay, you can select an answer and press next button. So this timer restarts from 10 again. In case if you are not attending the question within the time limit, next button will be pressed automatically. Now in this case, second question is skipped and third question is displayed. Okay, so you need to answer the questions within the time limit. That's it. The unanswered question is also considered as wrong answer. Okay, so and the timer stops with the last question. Okay, so that's it about implementing a countdown timer using Python Tkinter. Now you can also do this by registering the user and login by making use of this SQLite database. Let me execute this. So we got the quiz app login here. Press this option, new user register here. Give some name and give account. So account is created. Now the control goes to the login page and user is logged in. Now we have this option, welcome to online test, the rules, and we have two quiz questions, Python and Java. Okay, so you can take the Python quiz first or Java quiz first. So I'm selecting Java. Again, timer runs. So this question is unanswered and this is the last question. So score will be displayed. Here the username is also displayed and the Java score is displayed. Number of correct and number of wrong answers. Okay. And similarly, you can take Python quiz. Python quiz, I have increased the number of questions. To increase the number of questions, you have to make changes in the JSON file. Okay. So the name of the student and the Python score is displayed. Press OK, you can quit from this window. So that's it about creating a Python quiz application with a countdown timer. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, kindly share and subscribe.